Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening's class. Thank you for coming. I know you might have had a very hectic day, but you have made an effort to be here, and I am grateful for that. Now, as was discussed before, we will be looking at emotional intelligence. I would have sent you some documents. I hope you would have gone through and done some pre-reading so we can have a very lively and entertaining class. All right, so what we're expecting to cover in this session is to enhance current thinking of participants about the importance of developing emotional intelligence to gaining and retaining a job. With the utilization of discussions and analysis, participants will compare and contrast views on the key factors related to developing emotional intelligence. Participants will be exposed to best practices and guidelines to effectively function in the workplace. During the session, the participants will gain information on theories, views, and research done relative to emotional intelligence. Now, what are our learning objectives? So at the end of this session, learners should be able to define emotional intelligence. You should be able to get a history of emotional intelligence, demonstrate at least 5 characteristics of an emotionally intelligent leader. And you're supposed to be able to construct a chart, a cartoon, poem, song, something reflecting 2 levels of emotional intelligence. So I hope we are all gearing ourselves and getting ready so that we can get into the class and we are ready to learn. All right. So as we often do, because I want you to help you to relieve yourself of the stress of the day and get into the mood of learning, we're going to have some icebreakers. So let's go. What ship has 2 mates but no captain? Who's going to take that one? Damian.
Let me try. Let me see now. A boat.
Okay, you are incorrect, Damian. Would you want to try that, Yannick?
Sure. Is it friendship?
Yes, you're close enough. Yes.
Wow.
Really? Friendship, but there is one specifically I'm looking for. Anyone wants to get any closer?
Relationship. Me, teacher.
Relationship. That's the answer. What loses its head in the morning but gets it back at night?
Me, miss.
Go, Damian.
Pillow.
Damian said him.
Very good.
Pillow, yeah.
Very good. Why was the belt arrested? Anyone want to take that one? Why was the belt arrested?
Because it was too big.
Anybody else wants to try that one?
Because it was making noise, miss.
Not at all. All right. All right, so did I hear what? No bottle? All right, so let us look at this one. So for holding up the pants.
Oh,
so you were correct. Exactly.
Okay.
All right. Males, I know you may sometimes be wondering, how can you understand a woman? But let me just tell you how easy it is to understand a woman. Once you understand why the pizza is made round, packed in a square box, and eaten as a triangle, then you will understand women. All right?
That's so confusing.
so Miss, this is saying that women are complicated?
I am not saying anything of that sort. I think not.
That's what it's saying.
All right. So we're about now to learn about emotional intelligence. All right. So we are going to be looking at emotional intelligence. We are going to be going through the objectives as to what we would have said. All right, class? All right. Having covered the topic, we have gone through 1.5 hours of the class already, and we have covered emotional intelligence. We are going to be doing a little recap at this time. Now, I'm going to ask Sharon to read for me what is emotional intelligence as we recap.
The capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions and to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically. Emotional intelligence is the key to both personal and professional success.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Thank you, Sharon, for that one. Now we're going to move to characteristics of emotional intelligence. Yannick, that one is yours.
The characteristics of emotional intelligence: an emotional intelligent person, they're thoughtful and approachable. They actually admit mistakes and know how to apologize. They notice burnt out and understand the importance of balance. They practice self-care and they honor everyone's uniqueness.
All right, thank you very much. So now we're going to move to Paul. So remember we had looked at 3 theorists as it relates to emotional intelligence. Paul, go ahead and read for me.
Okay, so the theory with respect to emotional intelligence, teacher. According to the two authors, for a person to be categorized as emotional intelligent, they have to have 4 basic abilities: ability to perceive and correctly express their emotion, and other persons the ability to use emotion in a way that facilitate thought.
All right, thank you. So that is from Solovoy and Mayer's emotional intelligence. So we are going to move to number 2 now. And Shanique, I want you to take this one. Did we lose Shanique? Did she? I know she was having some difficulty. She also, Joan, they're having difficulty with their internet. So we might, okay. All right, but we will allow them to get the slides and things after. So Yannick, you go again with this one.
Right, so the next theory is Bar-On put forward, the Spaltas 2017. It's Bar-On's EI competencies model, where it puts forward a suggestion that emotional intelligence is a system of interconnected behavior that arises from emotional and social competencies. He also argues that these competencies have an influence on performance and behavior.
Thank you so much. So we move again, go back to Damien, theories on emotional intelligence, Goldman's theory. Unmute your mic, Damien.
All right, so yeah, so Goldman L performance model, right? According to Goldman, EL, which is emotional intelligence, is a cluster of skills and competencies, which are focused on 4 capabilities: self-awareness, relationship management, and social awareness. Goldman argued that these 4 capabilities from the basic of 12 subscale of EL.
All right, and we would have looked at the 12 subscales that we spoke about them in the class. So we have no need to go back into that just now. All right, and so the levels of emotional intelligence, or we're called sometimes the 5 core of emotional of intelligence skills. So we have self-awareness, emotional regulation, self-motivation, empathy, social skills. All right, so remember now, we are now going to go into the assessment aspect of the class. Now, remember that you were told you're going to be working in groups, and in working in groups, we're going to have peer assessment, because 10% of this will go to your final grade. 10% of the peer assessment is for final grade. Then, sorry, not for the peer assessment, for the presentation. So you're going to be placed in groups now to do your presentations. Then after, we will make some discussions on the presentations. All right, so group 1, which will be headed by Damien, you will be using panel discussion format. We'll explain the definition of emotional intelligence. Group 2 will be headed by Paul. using role play will demonstrate characteristics of emotional intelligence. And group 3 with Yannick leading that group, you will be required to construct a chart. Sorry, Paul will be the leader of group 3 and Yannick will be the leader of group 2. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to move into our groups. Remember now you'll have 15 minutes to work in your group and then you'll have 5 to 10 minutes presentations. Remember this, the rubric that was sent to you, you must be keeping the rubric. So therefore try and keep within that time. So you are now working in your groups.
Okay, miss.
All right, thank you
Okay,
for
all
being
right.
back. Thank you. You have worked in your group. We have seen how you have things. So you are now, we would have observed and we saw the presentation. I was enthused by the presentation. I saw a lot coming out of the presentation and it showed me that you understood well the lesson that was delivered. All right, so now what we're going to be doing, we are just going to be going through now, looking at some of the things that were discussed in the presentation. And we are going to ask persons to give their view. We're just going to give something that you would have learned from the presentation. We're going to start with Sharon. Sharon, you go ahead.
Emotional intelligence is otherwise known as emotional quotient or EQ. It is the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflicts. Emotional intelligence is the key to both personal and professional success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Well presented. We move now to, is it Yannick? Yannick, tell me something that you have learned from the presentation.
What I've learned is that there are different levels of emotional intelligence. You hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you, Yannick. Go ahead.
Okay. You have 5 actually. There's self-awareness and emotion regulation, self-motivation, empathy, and also social skill. So all of these are different levels of emotional intelligence and each level is very important.
Thank you very much. We move now to Damian.
All right, I'm going to take one of the 5 core skills, right? And I will look at empathy. You see, we have to put our foot in somebody's shoes, right? To really understand what they're going through. And I really love that.
All right, Paul.
Okay, for me, 2 things stood out in the presentation. One is empathy, and the next one is self-awareness. And for me, I'll narrow down on the self-awareness aspect, meaning that when you're interacting with someone, it is always good to take a check on your own emotion, has to know how you interact with that person, because your state of mind in that point in time may affect the way you respond. So it's very important to take a check of your emotion. That's what I learned. That was stood out for me the most.
Thank you very much. And Yannick, I want you to comment for me, Yannick, on the presentation of group 3. How did that appeal to you? But, yes, go ahead.
It was actually very good, very informative because it lets you see the different levels that are involved with emotional intelligence, something that we really take for granted. So it basically opened my eyes to see that there are different levels and how important each one of them is. So it was very good and very informative. I learned a lot.
Thank you. And as I sat and I look at the presentation and I realized that we have persons of different skills here, because when the role play, the person who demonstrated being the leader, I saw real empathy being displayed by that individual. And
That
when
is
I
true.
looked at the panel discussion, wow, excellent work done by the group leader in leading the panel. Very wonderful questioning skills I saw being demonstrated. And also the cartoon that came out from group 3's presentation, wonderful cartoon, and the poem reflected well the levels of emotional intelligence. So I just want to commend you all. You have done well. And so remember, you're supposed to do your peer assessment. I'm supposed to get them. You're supposed to email them to me so that I can have them. And it should be done within 24 hours. All right. So we're going to move now. So we actually will be coming to the end of our class. And our next, the assignment, you are to using the views expressed by 2 of the theories studied, write a proposal to your manager advocating for change in the way employees are treated. Remember, class members, you're going to be using APA format. You're supposed to keep in line with all of those things. We would have discussed the assignment already, would have talked about it, and I want you to make sure you're doing the presentation in the manner of it, because I want you to score the highest of grade that you possibly can. But bear in mind, if you do not upload this assignment to Moodle within 48 hours, you will not gain your grade. And also the quiz will be open. The quiz will be open on Moodle, and it will be there also for a period of 48 hours. You will have 3 attempts to better your grades. And remember, this is 60% of your grade. So I wish for you to do a wonderful work at it, do whatever you can do as best as possible on it. Now, class members, I will just have to say to you as we come to the end of our class, it was a wonderful session working with you. It was wonderful meeting you throughout the course. And I finally say to you, I've learned that people, this is Maya Angelou speaking, I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And so as you have been exposed to emotional intelligence, I want you to go out there now, and I want you to demonstrate the skills that you would have learned. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of this session. Anybody wants to give any feedback so far?
Well, I must say this was a very informative session. I do. So it will help me to be more cognizant of IE, which is emotional intelligence, and ensure that be mindful of others. And it was really informative, I must say, Miss.
All right,
For
thank
me,
you. Yes.
for me, I take away about self-awareness, because sometimes I will say something, but I don't really, know how my face look, or. Sometimes it's very important for me to really assess overall.
All right, thank you all. And it was nice meeting you once more. And I look forward to meeting in other courses, and be reminded that the only way that you can get through is empowerment, and you are empowering yourself. So continue to do that. Thank you for taking this course.